Good evening and welcome to Weekend Watch Halloween edition.
Ooh.
Very spooky forecast.
Yeah, watch out.
Is it a spooky forecast?
Well, we'll get into the details in a little bit. I don't think so. It's been
Okay.
it's been a point of a lot of work and study. Not that we don't work hard every time that we are making our forecasts, but this one we want to get right because people are concerned about what Halloween's going to look like.
Every year it feels so like you have everything planned out. You have your costume perfectly planned out. And then something happens and all of a sudden you're a cheerleader with a jacket.
Yep. That is pretty common. And when we were looking back at this winter storm in 1991 that took place around Halloween for Weather Now earlier this week on our Weather Rewind segment, yeah, we were able to easily find video of trick-or-treaters wearing coats either above or below their costumes, which I don't think we need the winter coat tomorrow night, especially if you go early in the evening, but maybe a layer, maybe something, a sweatshirt underneath might not be the worst thing.
We always tried in my family to build in a jacket somehow. Like we tried to make it a warm costume. I remember one particularly fun year, I was from Narnia, the witch, like with the white coat. And I had a huge, like, fuzzy blanket around me. And my friend that I went trick-or-treating with was Alice in Wonderland, and she did not have a coat on. And so we were, like, huddling under my blanket. I mean, really, you just gotta compromise sometimes for the costume.
Exactly. Get creative, and that's what Halloween's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, and trick-or-treating starts at different times around Eastern Iowa. Many communities have specific times that they want you to be out and about. It doesn't necessarily, always play out as neatly as they hope to plan. And obviously, you're not going to be hauled away to jail if you trick-or-treat
I didn't realize
outside of these times.
there were official times until I was in like high school.
Yeah, Cedar Rapids has been dusk. I think Iowa City back in the day when I was a kid was just kind of, dusk.
When
But
it gets dark.
others do it, and some do it on different nights too, depending on the situation. Friday nights, sometimes they might move it, or Saturday night, they might move it to a different night just for safety's sake. And that makes sense. So, but this time, here's our major communities and when they start, relatively between 5 or 6 o'clock. Now, the last several years in Eastern Iowa, we've seen a variety of different weather. Last year, 43 degrees around trick-or-treat times, 36 in 2023.
36 is pushing it.
That's
That's coat weather for sure.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, close to 60 at trick-or-treat time, not just for the high of the day, but 2022 and 2020 both had those warm evenings. So we've seen a little bit of both, and we're going to end up seeing ourselves somewhere in the middle as we go toward Friday evening. So your trick-or-treat forecast involves, well, perhaps some dancing monsters, as well as 46 degrees for a trick-or-treat time, and we expect mostly cloudy skies. That's the good news there, is that things should stay dry. Now,
I am so delighted.
remember that, well, let's take a sidetrack for a second, as we do. Becky loves the dancing monsters.
Any kind of like animation. The weather department has the best graphics.
It's for fun. Yeah,
I have
we all
always believed this.
try to be festive.
I will never forget when I first started on weekend mornings, and at like 6 o'clock in the morning, Corey would break out the most bizarre dancing mummy
Like this.
animation. And it's especially funny at 6 in the morning, I'll tell you that.
That's true. It hits a little bit harder there, for sure.
This is fantastic.
Well,
and
there
I
you go.
hope this is the vibe that all of your Halloweens are.
Yes, and it should be. And now let's like a pinpoint futurecast through the afternoon, evening tomorrow. We started at 4. Let's wind it back. Clouds are moving in, so a little bit sunny rather, as we go through the early stage of the day. But by the time we get towards 6 or 7, I do want you to notice that we get into somewhat cloudier skies, and we also see somewhat showery looking pictures as well. You can see that across the northern portions of the viewing area, right north of Highway 20. And that's where we could see a little bit of light rain trying to fall. Now, if you were joining us on the TV9 evening news programs, you saw as well that rain is trying to fall right now across Eastern Iowa. And we're not seeing it really make it down to the ground. Part of the reason is that we've had dry air near the ground, and so that rain, when it is light, is trying to fall and it evaporates before it makes it down there. And so we are expecting the same thing to play out tomorrow night. However, it's on that razor's edge. So that's why we say we have the possibility of a few sprinkles. Even if it does maximize its potential and we get a few showers roaming through the area, it does look like they'll be both fairly light and quick moving. And so any given location would see that just for a brief period of time and then it would move on pretty quickly. And that's the good news there. We are expecting later into the evening to not see much change. Again, the north has the best chance of seeing a little bit of this. Even as we get closer to midnight, you still see it's still limited to mostly the far north. So our Halloween outlook remains pretty good.
That's not so bad. You know, a little bit of rain here and there, you know, you're darting between houses. That's not going to hurt anybody.
I think so too, and I think it will be no umbrella needed even necessarily, which is good news. There will be a little bit of a breeze, so that will be a factor too. It'll make things feel a little bit cooler.
I feel like the umbrella's really for the parents. Kids, you're getting candy.
Yeah.
A little bit of rain is nothing.
Oh, sure. But the parents have to do a little bit more standing around, depending on the situation. Sometimes they don't walk up the sidewalk or they don't walk up the stairs to get the trick or treat. So that is a situation that where, standing there, you might want it.
Absolutely.
Now, we
did promise
a little special treat.
A Halloween surprise.
We did earlier during the first alert weather now at 4:30.
Yes, anyone who tuned in was promised a Halloween surprise. So we have gone into our personal archives.
Yes.
And we have dug up some old Halloween costumes to show you all. This is Corey. Corey, how old were you? Do you remember?
I don't know. It looks like I'm probably 4, maybe in that range, 4 or 5, something like that.
I've just noticed this ladybug on the pumpkin costume.
That's right.
Which is so precious.
Yes.
This is a very cute pumpkin outfit.
It was, and I think each of my siblings, I've got a brother and a sister, I think we all probably wore this at some point. So it got passed down, which was not an uncommon move. My mom made all of our stuff. Unless this is the one exception. This might be the only exception, but I think even then it was probably made from a kit at the very least. But a lot of stuff was handmade or put together with stuff we already had. Never have I worn, knowingly, a store-bought costume.
Did you guys ever have group costumes, like family costumes?
No.
I'm seeing that a lot these days.
I think that's more modern, maybe. But back then it would just be, what do you want to be? And pumpkin was the easy one for that age because it was the right size and it fit.
Pumpkin's very good.
But yeah, later we had other ones that were just, spur of the moment or what we thought of, and we'd plan it and we'd do it.
I think we had one group family costume, which was Winnie the Pooh characters.
Okay.
I do not have photographic evidence of that here, but I do have kind of a similar vibe. This is, I believe I was a duck, a little baby duck.
Yeah, it looks like a duck,
Very
right?
excited to be there, clearly.
Yeah, you're having a great time. Pretty young.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty young.
I do not personally remember this, but it's one of my mom's favorites.
Okay.
And my mom made a lot of our costumes. She was very, she's so talented.
That's good.
For sewing. So we were very, very lucky to have her very hands-on with all of the Halloween costumes. In particular, this adorable little wing mechanism here.
Yeah, I love it. Very, very nice. And hopefully everyone has a safe, fun Halloween. Obviously, be careful out there as you're trick-or-treating. Make sure you have something reflective or something lit so that you can see and people can see you, more importantly, as you're walking around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not the only thing going on this weekend either.
That's just the start.
Yeah, tip of the iceberg, folks. And another thing happening tomorrow night is Friday Night Football. Now, the regular season is over, but playoff football is going to be going on next on Friday. We still have an edition of Friday Night Lights End Zone for your Friday evening at the end of the day after KCRG TV9 News at 10. And temperatures for the evening will be on the chillier side. As we've already noted, 40s, low 40s by the time games wrap up, but dry for the most part, just a sprinkle as we've threatened during that time. So Friday's over. Let's get past it.
Casual threat.
Indeed. As we've gotten past Friday, Saturday is the first full day of the weekend, and it looks like it'll be a bit of a gray one. We were facing this last week at the same time that clouds would be out there. Looks like they're going to be out there again, and thus it is to be the chilliest day of the weekend, 48 degrees for a high, and that's at best. Some people will end up cooler than that, and that comes with a little bit of wind and maybe a few sprinkles, again, trying to sneak in. We just can't get rid of them out of our forecast picture. And then here's a pinpoint futurecast view that takes a little bit of a wider shot. And so here's 3 a.m. on Saturday. You saw a little bit of that shower activity at the tail end of our last look. Maybe you noticed, in fact, let's go back just a couple hours. Within those showers, there's just that tiny little area of purple there. And that is indicating perhaps a little bit of wintry precipitation trying to mix in. Remember, our lows tomorrow night are going to be in the low 30s again. So
November 1st, wasting no time.
Yeah, you're moving in on winter's territory. And it would be, if that takes place, again, this is all contingent on this even making it to the ground. It would be so extremely light. Precipitation would not stick. Our ground is still very warm, and it would be very, very light. Now, toward the afternoon hours, again, we're fighting against dry air, but some sprinkles try to form. Later tomorrow afternoon and evening, skies turn clearer. So we are expecting, again, a pretty cold start to the day on Sunday. But before that, lots going on Saturday. One of them, Iowa State, playing host to Arizona State this weekend.
Another incredible graphic.
Yes, and they will be seeing temperatures for tailgating that will be pretty cold.
Oh, this is a morning game?
It's it's a noon start. And so they are seeing 30s for a good chunk of that tailgate time in the morning hours, getting close to the low 40s by the afternoon, and that's where they're going to be sort of stuck for kickoff. 43 degrees in Ames with a northerly wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. So that means wind chills in the 30s.
Bundle up.
Yeah, dress warmly for that one, especially with the lack of sun. That sitting there in that will be cold. Hopefully the Cyclones give the fans a reason to get up and cheer, and that helps. If it's a low-scoring game, which between these two teams it probably won't be, but we'll have to wait and see. You and I on the road. Again, they are at Illinois State. Cardinals, Redbirds. They are playing this weekend, 2 o'clock kickoff, 49 degrees there. So
slightly better.
Slightly better,
Not much.
slightly later. Still cloudy, still a little bit gloomy for that game. Now, if football's not your speed, well, we got to get rid of the pumpkins somehow.
Oh,
and
my
so
goodness.
Bloomsbury Farm in Atkins has their annual event after Halloween, 10 a.m. to 5:30. It's the annual day of pumpkin destruction. It's a general fall celebration still, so
Okay.
they still have other stuff going on, but they got
No,
to get rid
only smashing pumpkins, 10 to 5.
that too. And so they got to get through those pumpkins somehow, and they will. Temperatures there, again, cool. So if you're going to head to that event, it does stay with temperatures in the 40s. Make sure to check out their website for more information, their social media about the event and what you need to know before you head out there. But the weather-wise should be pretty good. Bloomsbury
sounds
Farm
fun.
could be the spot to hit. Otherwise, if you want to stay a little warmer, perhaps, certainly with the consumables in Mount Vernon, Uptown Mount Vernon hosts to a chili cook-off. And the tasting begins at 5:30 in the evening. $20 gets you 25 samples.
Whoa.
So they have a lot of
That's a pretty good bargain.
Yeah, honestly, and that's a good amount of chili,
Less
I'm going
than,
to guess.
25 bites of chili?
Yeah.
That's dinner.
Yeah, it's probably
It's
more
more than dinner.
It's probably more than a spoonful, too. So it'll be a good amount of chili for a decent price. Bags tournament also in the afternoon, if you're so into
Corey, that's cornhole.
Whatever
Are you a
you want.
bags person?
Yeah, I think it's weird to call it cornhole.
Oh, okay, we're going to fight about that later.
All right, we'll hold that for later. Otherwise, a thing that you could do indoors, Cedar Falls, playing host to the Cedar River Film Festival at the Cedar Falls Community Theater. It is an ongoing affair this weekend. Temperatures are chilly outdoors, but of course, film festivals take place indoors most of the time, and that is the case here. Again, find more information at the website for the Cedar Falls Community Theater. That is an opportunity as well. There are other things going on too. It's just a sampling.
Now I have a question.
Yes.
When Halloween is over, when do you think it's appropriate to put up the Christmas decorations?
I don't have strong feelings about this. I think it's fair to at least put them up outdoors if you want as early as you can from a comfort standpoint. Temperatures will be at their warmest. You're not necessarily going to get better later on. I know that there's some people that say you can do it right after Halloween. Me personally, I'm not going to be putting it up that early, but it's not necessarily out of a moral stand. It's more just, I'm just not ready yet. I'll wait.
I think it's hugely weather dependent.
Sure.
Yeah, if you can get them up, lights at least. And lights are so fun to look at.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not hurting anybody. You know, even if you love Halloween.
You got to test them out, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
We
so-
were big, immediate, like, my roommate in college, we did Halloween, and then it hit midnight, and we tore everything down, and we put all of the Christmas stuff up.
Oh, okay.
Immediately, because you got to make the most of it.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So we'll start to see those probably popping up all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe Sunday is the day that you want to take care of some of that. It looks like we will catch a bit of a break from the grayer, gloomier conditions that we'll start the weekend off with, so that is nice. And it will be certifiably dry. We're not even hedging with a chance for sprinkles here.
Guaranteed.
Instead, it looks like it should be pretty decent. Winds, though, will pick up a little bit. In fact, our gusts by the afternoon in that 20 to 30 mile per hour range, possibly. So that is windier. Not necessarily the best weather to be out on a ladder putting up the Halloween decorations. So you do have to factor that in this time of year.
That's true.
For sure. And also, notice as we go through Sunday afternoon which direction they're coming from. Southerly.
Oh, so, okay.
Becky
These
was-
are not like, I was like, well, they're going north.
Becky was getting her compass out. And yes, they are coming from the south, and that's what we describe as a southerly wind. And so that will be as this low pressure moves off and away and takes its clouds and precipitation with it. Behind, we could see a little bit of a patch of fog, perhaps in a few spots early Sunday, quickly gone and replaced by partly to, at times, mostly sunny skies. But notice that that southerly wind starts to kick in, and you know what that means.
Warm weather?
Yes, that's
Yay!
right. Warm weather coming in on these southerly winds and setting up what will be a warmer start to the following week. Now, unfortunately, it's going to take a little time for it to get there. So the temperatures will still be cool on Sunday, but a little warmer than Saturday. We'll see a little bit of improvement with highs that get into the 50s. If you want to do some of that yard work outside, I know folks have their eyes on that, much like last weekend when we joined you. The weekend, unfortunately, is not looking the best. There will be opportunities, especially if you don't mind the cooler temperatures. But if you can wait till the beginning of the following week, as temperatures will be a little bit warmer.
Yeah, and hopefully the wind dies down a little, because I feel like the wind just takes half of that work and blows it away.
It can certainly make it a little tougher looking at that as well. So yeah, always a factor.
All in all, a pretty good weekend to get out and enjoy, maybe close to the end of fall. I can't believe it's November already.
Well, okay, let's settle down in terms of the season itself.
I feel like once we hit November, we're running out of time here, and it just feels like fall just now.
Yeah, well, they did certainly switch over to that, and we've had that pretty consistently. Even that warm temperature next week, we're talking low 60s, not anything summer-like, so it still is pretty close to the season.
Keep the winter coats in the closet for just a little bit longer.
Well, maybe during the afternoon.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here for Weekend Watch. Hopefully this helps a little bit with planning out your Halloween plans and your game time plans. And we'll be back here next Thursday to give you another forecast for your weekend. Have a great evening.